CAA is asking you what are the worst roads in Ontario as part of its annual campaign starting today.
That our campaign is going to earn the 1,237 delegates needed to win the Republican nomination.
Republican Ted Cruz and Democrat Bernie Sanders captured big wins in the Wisconsin primaries. And pressure is growing on people named in the Panama Papers leak as accused speak out. Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Persis Abraham, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Today, the CAA officially kicked off their annual Worst Roads campaign in the province. The association held a news conference this morning for the launch. Humber News reporter Nick Westall was there and has the story.
It can be a driver's worst nightmare, construction. But a campaign by the CAA is calling for more roads to be dug up and fixed. The organization launched its Worst Roads campaign this morning. After receiving a record 2,000 road nominations in 2015, they want to hear from residents, and not just simple road fixes either.
This campaign is not about only potholes. We want to hear anything that impacts your traveling experience, including congestion, bad traffic signal timing, and confusing road signs.
Aside from protecting cars from jarring bumps and damage, the agency says it's about protecting the public.
It's a safety issue more so than anything. People will try to avoid certain stretches.
CAA says they will compile local and provincial lists and forward them off to decision makers in the hopes of getting them action. Although roads in Timmins topped the list in 2015, Toronto's Dufferin Street and Bayview Avenue were on the top 10 list. This isn't the first time Dufferin has been cited, but it's not as simple as just repaving it.
When you see a Dufferin Street, for example, shows up 3 or 4 times, municipalities try to plan projects. So if they have other projects, sewer or something else that they want done to that road, they don't want that road taken up twice.
Although the City of Toronto has resurfaced a good portion of Dufferin in response to the complaints from residents, there's this section here north of the 401 that still needs to be resurfaced. We went to City Hall to find out what staff are doing to address road crumbling concerns. The city spokesperson says the last section of Dufferin will be fixed by 2017. He also says they will be spending $270 million to fix roads this year.
We're very concerned about the state of good repair. The council's been investing heavily to improve state of good repair over the last few years.
And what about all those potholes we see?
In terms of potholes, for example, we've already filled over 50,000 potholes since the 1st of January.
So if you see streets in your neighborhood that need a fix, you have until April 29th to cast your vote. Nick Westall, Humber News.
With the launch of CAA's Worst Roads campaign, staff and students at Humber College North Campus hit no speed bumps while discussing which roads they think Toronto needs to improve. Matthew Paracelli has the story.
The snowy weather conditions Toronto is experiencing accentuates the faults of the roads, a point CAA is looking to address with its Worst Roads campaign. The organization is now accepting submissions from the public about which roads they deem to be in need of serious repair, and the Humber community clearly has their opinions.
Markham Road is a disaster. Binge. There's always construction, yet somehow there's no improvement. I don't understand what the point of all of that is. It's a dilemma.
Every morning when I leave for work, I have to steer around one pothole. I know it, but some people don't. And you hear a big bang.
While some Toronto drivers know which roads to avoid, others fear for their wheels upon entering the city.
Up in Woodbridge, where I live, it's like the roads are nice. Everyone pays taxes. The roads are nice. It's smooth. Like you could put a milkshake on your car, it won't spill, right? But then when the borderline, you cross to Rexdale, it's like you know you're in Rexdale when it's like bah, 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 bah.
I think that in Brampton it's a lot better. I noticed that the roads are a lot clearer.
Toronto skidded onto the list twice last year with Bayview and Dufferin, although according to some, one of those roads has since improved.
I actually do travel Bayview now to go to my placement, and Bayview, it's not that bad. The roads aren't bad, just traffic.
Hopefully the voices of those at Humber are heard and will soon pave the way to smoother roads. Matthew Paracelli, Humber News.
The lockdown at George Brown College has been lifted after conflicting reports of a stabbing on campus. The Casa Loma campus went into lockdown after reports of a man being spotted with a knife. The suspect is described as a male, late teens, early 20s, brown skin, and 5'11". Police are continuing to search for the suspect. In Hamilton today, Mark Smitch's friend, Brendan Daly, is back on the stand at the Tim BOSMA trial. Mark Smitch and Dylan Millard are charged with the first-degree murder of Tim BOSMA, who disappeared in May 2013 after taking 2 men on a test drive in the truck he was selling online. Daly testified today that Smitch often spoke to him about violent things. Daly said Smitch was an aspiring rap artist who would often create songs about his gun. He testified Smitch had a gun hidden in a toolbox and he was afraid to be around it after Millard's arrest. Daly told the court that when Smitch's mother realized he was hiding something, Smitch asked Daly to help dispose of the gun. Daly testified that Smitch eventually got rid of it, but never told him how. Convicted sex offender Gordon Stuckless is in court again this week. Stuckless was convicted in 1997 for sexual assaults he committed against 24 boys while working as an equipment manager at Maple Leaf Gardens. He pleaded guilty to more than 100 new charges in 2014. Even so, prosecutors aren't seeking dangerous offender status, citing years of good behavior. Last week, victims read impact statements, calling him a monster and saying how he robbed them of their lives. Stuckless apologized yesterday, saying he abused his power and wished he could take it back. The Crown is seeking a 12-year sentence. To the U.S. primaries now, where Republican candidate Ted Cruz and Democratic contender Bernie Sanders both scored key victories in Wisconsin last night. Cruz's victory is a major blow to frontrunner Donald Trump heading into the July convention. The win is pivotal to the Republican Party as it tries to stop Trump's chances of securing the nomination. Cruz addressed his supporters in Milwaukee, saying he's confident his campaign will beat out Hillary Clinton.
Defying the media, defying the pundits, I am more and more convinced that our campaign is going to earn the 1,237 delegates needed to win the Republican nomination.
In the Democratic race, Bernie Sanders is still picking up steam as he beat out party favorite Hillary Clinton. Sanders will need to win the majority of the remaining delegates to overcome Clinton, who has a considerable lead in superdelegates.
We have now won 7 out of 8 of the last caucuses and primaries. And we have won almost all of them with overwhelming landslide numbers.
Sanders' campaign says these superdelegates could shift their support if his message of wealth inequality keeps gaining popularity. Just days after the information leak from Panama's offshore bank accounts, world leaders are scrambling to do damage control. Ukraine's President Petro Poroshenko is the latest world leader to take a hit. He says his Panama account was not used for tax evasion, but to move his confectionery business to the British Virgin Islands. Poroshenko isn't the only European leader who has come under fire after the leak. British Prime Minister David Cameron says that though his late father was on the list, he himself is not associated with the account. Iceland's Prime Minister re-signed yesterday after mass protests from Icelanders. The lawyer at the center of the leak says his company is not to blame, but that it was hacked from outside. Olympic authorities in Rio de Janeiro say they are confident construction for the Summer Games will continue despite the ongoing fraud investigation. The organization that is lending money to the Municipal Olympic Company confirmed that they have put a halt to their funding. But the MOC director says most of the venues have already been completed, including the BMX biking course. He says the legal issue is being looked at by lawyers representing the company and the city of Rio de Janeiro. More protests today at the Greek-Macedonia border as refugees are being sent to Turkey from Greece. Police are on high alert as refugees at the Idomeni camp once more demand the borders to open. On the weekend, nearly 1,500 of them boarded buses that took them back to Turkey. However, when the buses arrived yesterday, no one got on. In fact, they refused. Instead, the migrants protested and blocked major roads leading to the border. The migrants being sent back to Turkey go to the one of 21 reception centers. The European Union will give them money and visa-free travel to another assigned country. The Pope was able to take part in a very special bucket list moment for a young girl suffering from a rare disease. Pope Francis met with 5-year-old Elizabeth Myers and her parents at St. Peter's Square as a special gift to the young American girl. Elizabeth suffers from Usher's syndrome, a rare disorder that will eventually leave her both deaf and blind. Pope Francis gave Lizzie and her parents special seating in the square so he could meet with her personally. He spoke with her briefly before blessing her eyes. Lizzie's parents have started a bucket list for their daughter, full of sights and sounds they want her to see and hear before the disease takes its toll. NASA has released a beautiful, high-quality picture of one of the largest planets in our solar system. The spacecraft Cassini is traveling through our solar system and photographed Saturn and its moon Dione, half lit by the sun. The stunning high-quality image was taken by the spacecraft from a distance of about 1 million miles from the planet. NASA added a caption saying the planet's approach to its summer solstice is the cause of its half-lit appearance. China has begun its space mission in the name of science by launching a very special type of satellite. The satellite took off in a burst of fire and smoke at China's Satellite Launch Center in the Gobi Desert. It's studying space life and microgravity. All of the experiments on the board are completely new. This is the first of China's satellites that is returnable. The studies could lead to key breakthroughs in space research. It's being called the most important Chinese historical object ever offered for auction. A seal carved for Emperor Kangxi has just sold for nearly $12 million. The seal was the largest one belonging to the emperor. Its characters mean, "I revere heaven, I serve my people well." The auction house says it was sold to an Asian buyer. It is set the third highest priced for any Chinese imperial seal sold at the auction.
It's China.
And now, back to Earth. Humber's North Campus got together Wednesday morning to dance for a good cause. Humber reporter Christiana was at the event and has the details.
People of all ages gathered at the student concourse Wednesday morning to show off their dance moves in a ZUMBA class. The Early Childhood Studies Student Council organized this event to raise money for the Childhood Cancer Association.
And we picked Zumba just because it's a great group activity, promotes physical activity, it's a lot of fun, and who doesn't love to dance? So.
This is the first time Humber has done a Zumba event at the North Campus, but they're hoping that this will not be the last.
As you can see, there's tons of energy today here at the student concourse with people of all ages getting together to dance in spirit. And even if you don't feel like dancing, you can still donate.
The event ran for an hour, but if you missed today's, there are always more going on around campus. Christiana Chan, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Sarah Wickett will have your 3-day forecast.
Wow, what a beautiful spring day! Or not. Mother Nature, what are you doing? I'll have your 3-day forecast after the break.
But for now, we leave you with this. Gryffindors unite. If you've ever wanted to visit the Harry Potter world, you may want to consider a visit to Hollywood. Universal Studios Hollywood is unveiling its new Wizarding World of Harry Potter attraction. Legendary composer John Williams provided the backdrop for the opening's theatric fireworks and 3D light show. Potter alumni Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, attended the opening and was happy to be back at Hogwarts.
It's amazing, you know, it's hard for me not to sort of well up. It's like walking back through my old school ground.
The attraction is open to the public on April 7th.